South America, gonna be in Brazil, specifically Rio, doing Rock in Rio, and the day after Rock in Rio, I'm gonna be doing a clinic. So you gotta come out, check it out, we'll have a chat, I'll play a little guitar, scream my 30th. And the date is the 30th. Okay, I'll see you then.
I wish my beer was as cold as your heart.
Hi. What's happening? Is it cold out there? It's cold up here. It's freezing. Is there kids here? Any kids? No kids? Okay, I can say that. It's fucking cold. Okay. I'm gonna warm up, okay? Because it's cold. Is it loud out there? Not that bad, right? All right. I think the vein is popping right here. Okay, so I'm Phil X. I'm going to play guitar, I'm going to talk, I'm going to scream, I'm going to... all kinds of... No, that's screaming right there, right? And, you know, we'll do some Q&A so you can ask me questions about anything. Touring, being a session guy, being a side guy, being this guy, and being the guy who played Rock in Rio last night. Wow! 100,000 people, that's pretty amazing. With Bon Jovi. Yeah! So, I love Brazil. I think Brazilian audiences are, like, the best. Don't tell anyone I said that. Fans are really possessive. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start with a little bit of, wait, how many, can we get some house lights so I can see some people here? I just wanted to ask some questions so I can know which way I'm going. Lights? Audience? Yeah, hey, can we keep it like this? This is way better. It's a theater. I mean, let's look at everybody. How many people actually play guitar? All right! Actually, the last one was like 4 people out of 200. It was weird. You know, I start with a downstroke, and then everybody goes, well, I'm gonna check my phone. So that's good. So if you have any questions, we also have a translator, in case, this is Carl, my buddy over here, and he's the translator, so if anybody has a question in Portuguese, he will tell me. And hopefully not like last time, you'll tell the answer in Portuguese as well. You better be funny. Okay, thanks. That happens all the time. Hey, we don't need a translator, he's a guitar player. I'm going, no man, I need a translator that's a comedian. I want people to laugh. Okay, easy. Okay, so, I'm just gonna give a little history, and then I'll do some playing. I gotta get rid of that. I had been a session player in Los Angeles for many years, but when I started doing these videos, on YouTube called for Freded Americana. That's when the right people see it, and then the right person calls that person and says, "Hey, we need somebody," and then before you know it, you're playing in front of 50,000 people with Bon Jovi. And it just, for me, I like to express the importance of when you put something up on YouTube, make sure it's great. Because there's too much shit on YouTube. And if you're a guy that's like doing the solo to Stairway to Heaven in your pajamas on the bed with the crotch shot and hey, check it out, I don't give a shit. Or somebody goes, hey man, check out this girl, she plays Eruption perfect and she's only 14. And I'm like, does she do backflips? Because that's what I want to see. I want to see something special, I want to see some personality, I want to see something really cool, and it turns out that so does everybody else. So I was doing these guitar demos, but because I was funny and singing Zeppelin and shit like that, it gave me a platform to get my name out into a situation. Now, I know you're thinking, is YouTube that important? Yes, it is. Because labels look at young artists and they go to their videos and see how many people, how many views they have. So it's important in that way. Another thing is that when you try out new material, you want to it's an easy forum to get on. Putting something on YouTube is easy, it's a piece of cake, everybody does it. But if you don't make it special, then it just gets lost in the shuffle. So, and that's an important factor I want to introduce, because basically I'm in Bon Jovi because I put up some cool videos, basically. I mean, another thing that's really important is, delivering, because if I would have walked on stage and sucked, they would have sent me home. So you got to be able to perform. That's the other thing. Is everybody following me so far? Yeah. Everybody's good? Yeah. Okay, awesome. I'm going to start with a little bit of technique for all the guitar players. And then whoever doesn't play guitar, if you want to ask me a question afterwards, we can talk about anything you want. So I love that early on in my guitar playing life, I started, even when I was a kid, I just knew I couldn't be a copycat. I knew I had to develop my own style. So what I did is I came up with my own licks. And I think that's really important too, because there are too many people that just copy other people and, discover of this and that and stuff. But I have a band called The Drills, and we put out a record, Volume 1, in May, and it's, there's a song on there called, what's it called, Phil? It's called Rock and Roll You All Night Long. Basically, because I wanted to have a title that had rock and roll in it, and I wanted to have a title that was something about all night long. So then I just put the two together and made Rock and Roll You All Night Long. I don't know, that's how my brain works. Anyways, the solo, the whole track is basically an homage, like a tip of my hat, a tribute to Van Halen, because I was a huge fan. And when we recorded it, Van Halen 1 was about 40 years old, so I thought I would honor it. So I wrote a song in the vein, it's like a ZZ Top, hyper steroid boogie. And basically I'm the One, by Van Halen. And I also wanted to do a solo section that had that reminisced the hey, I'm in this key, and then I'm in this key, and then I'm in that key. And basically, I did that, but instead of playing Eddie licks, I played my licks. So I'll give you an idea of what my licks sounded like, and then I'll even describe the origin of the licks, because I think that's really important too. Everybody has an influence. Everybody has somebody who inspired them, or a whole bunch of people that inspired them. So let's see if my phone works. Almost. Just kidding. So I'm gonna break it down. Okay? Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so it starts in B. So it's kind of like that, you know. So basically, for me, I'm very pentatonic, and I'm very pentatonic with the flat 5. It's just so everybody knows what let's all be on the same page. This is pentatonic, and this is with the flat 5. That weird note, that's the flat 5. So it basically starts very bluesy, because I wanted it to just come out bluesy. So it's like, and then what I do is I take the pentatonic with the flat 5, and just if you change the order or the sequence of notes, you get something different. So I would start on instead of starting on one note, I would start on what would be the second note, and then go backwards, and then go up 2, and then back 1, and then up 2, and then back 1. So it sounds like. So when I got further down, it was just not only including the flat 5, I got a little chromatic at the end. Like one more time. So that's when you get that, wow, it's just the same notes that everybody's playing, but we just changed the sequence a little bit and it sounds like a different lick. And that's another thing too, you want your licks to sound like licks. You don't want your licks to sound like exercises, right? They're like, yeah man, I told you that last week. And then to continue, yeah, that was in B, and then the solo changes to D. So I started doing this one lick, and this is what always happens with me. It always starts with one lick, and then you can either add to the lick, or it just stays a lick. But this was one lick that I added to, and then added to again. So it was kind of like a pull-off. There's a flat 5, I love it. Even landing on it is kind of weird, but when it goes by really fast, it just has a really interesting sound. The next one is, what? I don't even know if that's right. So it's got this thing kind of going up. It's like a lick. It's kind of like spider fingers and just kind of going up the neck. And I don't usually play like that, but it was a neat thing that I came up with and I stuck it in there. And then again it gets bluesy. So that's another kind of lick where you go and you're doing pentatonic, but you're changing the order of the sequence. So that's, your basic blues kind of stuff. And then the next part, I lose my mind because it's crazy. I call it like I don't even have a name for it. It's just, there's a chromatic element, but 2 notes beside each other, 2 notes that shouldn't be played together. Because this is a nice interval. This is a nice interval. This is a nice interval. But this kind of sucks. So, but it happens 4 times in this lick, and I'll show you how I do it. It's weird playing slow. So, it starts pentatonic, but then it gets ugly. So, again, it sounds like 2 cats in a bag fighting, unless you play it in, in the applied situation, as in. So, that lick that follows the cat lick, let's call it the cat lick, it goes like. So basically, I'm telling you, being completely transparent comes from which is an Eddie Van Halen lick. But when I play it, it doesn't sound like that lick. Which is, some people say, hey man, songwriters are like, you know, good songwriters borrow, great songwriters steal. I think that's fucking bullshit. I think it's how you disguise it. So I disguised the Eddie Van Halen lick so it wouldn't sound like Eddie Van Halen. And people went, man, that's a really cool lick. And I'm going, thank you very much. I'm not saying anything else. So it's that kind of thing. It's again, we all have inspiration, we all have influences, but it's taking them and making them your own. Even, you know, I always, when I used to teach, I'd have a student that would take his homework home, and it would be my stuff, and he'd bring it back, and he'd be nailing my licks. And I'm like, great, but what are you gonna do with it? But there was another guy, and he'd take the homework home, and he'd come back, and he took my licks to another area and made them his. And that's what I try to make an important part of becoming a great guitar player. Your own style. So let's continue. I might have to do the solo again after, if you guys want to, no, once I break it down. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, so again, I go after the... that kind of thing. And you're thinking, what the hell is that? The funny thing is that came from when I was young and learning other guys' licks. I didn't know that Nuno Bettencourt used a delay pedal in Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee. So he's going like, but with the delay in there, it sounds like that. So I'm thinking, I'm doing this lick, and I'm thinking, what's that? I go, I fucking stole it from Nuno Bettencourt. No, he uses a delay pedal. And I'm like, oh. So, but instead of doing it like that, I went up. Again, taking from someone that you admire and making it your own. Right? And then the next lick is this, I have this kind of like Greek background. Not kind of, I do have a Greek background. I listened to Greek music growing up. And the Phrygian mode, minor harmonic, was very popular in a lot of the older tunes. So you'd have that diminished chord. You know, like when you're in an old black and white movie and there's the fair maiden tied to the track and the train is coming and it's... that thing, that's the music. I guess it builds tension. So I would go like... and at one point I was going... and then I added another note, which was a... which is basically just taking a blues lick and just moving it down every 4 frets. In this song, I ended up going the other way. So it goes... so that was that. So that's basically all the parts of the solo and basically where all the ideas came from over the years of how long I've been playing guitar. And then there's one last lick at the end that's like, I get a lot of what the hell was that? Which is, because I like that. I like watching guitar players and go, what the hell was that? So this is kind of like pentatonic. I'm going. But I thought, I don't want to just go. So I'll add like a pinky note. Which sounds like a way cooler lick because it's got some substance and more and bigger intervals. So I'll do it one more time so you can see everything in action. Is it cool?
Yeah.
Come on, phone. Thank you. That's a good practice. Okay, so before I go on, does anybody have any questions? Yes. Oh, wait, we have microphones? You don't want a microphone?
So, first of all, you
Yes.
can sign my guitar.
Right now? Why, you gotta go?
You can sign my.
Oh, yeah, okay, there we go.
You can sign my guitar.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And yesterday
Yes.
in Rock in Rio,
Oh, yeah.
I
Woo!
was very sad because you don't play the solo of Runaway, and I was waiting this all night long. You can play the solo.
Yeah. Too fucking bad, man. You know what? Really? I mean, I understand. I've gone seen some bands and they didn't play my favorite song. And, you know, what are you gonna do? You want me to sign that right now?
You can?
Yeah, sure, man, let's do it. Don't steal the microphone. What's your name? I don't have to do the solo. Do the solo? No, I don't want to do the solo, man. It's weird. You don't have a band, and it's kind of like under a microscope, and but God damn it. Okay, I'll try it right now. I get in the mode, man. Anybody got a keyboard? It's what? Perfect. Thanks, man. I'm thinking, yeah, that one part, that's not right at all. 'Cause, you know, at one point I had learned so many songs, I don't even know if I got the solos perfect, but I felt like I got them close enough. Any other questions? Yes.
How being a session musician?
Yeah. Oh, we got a microphone for you. Woo!
First of all, thank you.
First of all, microphone.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
And besides your incredible charisma and technique and all that talent, creativity, how being a session musician is part of the whole Fuel X picture?
Yeah.
Is that because when you're a session musician, you
Well, I mean, I still don't read. I'm like, I don't read music, so it's. I think sometimes it's important because the guys that do like movie scores, like I have friends that do movie scores, and they sight read, and they work all the time and make lots of money. But you do have to be able to chart, because I go into the session and say you have like Kenny Aronoff on drums and you got, you know, the best bass player in the world on bass, and you don't want to be the guy slowing everybody down. So I would, you can, okay, say this is an F, and then it goes to a C, and then it goes to a D minor and a G. But when you go to the B flat on the 8th bar, they want the whole band to go into the verse, right? Well, I'm like, well, I don't want to blow it, but like, I can't write it out. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to remember it because we just did 5 other songs. So I always put like a lyric to it. So I'm like writing, okay, the F and the C and the D minor and G and then the B flat. Still of the night, come on. So that would make me remember it. Or you're going like the Doors, right? It'd be like, say they want everybody to go, ba 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 ba, I go, come on, come on, come on. Come on, do it now. So, I mean, I call it association by syncopation, because whatever gets you to the finish line, you know? And the one time I did do a session, it was a movie score. It was like a Will Ferrell movie, and they called me and they said, hey, the composer wants to use you on Friday. And I'm like, you guys know I don't read, right? And they're like, yeah, but you know, maybe we can send you the demos and you can make some notes and then come in and do the session. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I get the demos. I show, look at this guy, the other guitar player who plays on every movie you've ever seen. He's got 8 pages spread out on 3 stands, because when you're playing piano, I guess they get used to changing the pages, but when you're playing guitar, you can't really have the opportunity to change. So he's reading 8 sheets. So I go to my area and I got like a Post-it this big. And so I do the session, and everybody, I'm like, I walk into the guitar player because I'm impressed, man. I'm like, man, it's like reading a book or looking at a painting, right? And he goes, yeah, but I've been doing it for a really long time. But how did you do what you did? And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, they told us that you were gonna come, this guy, Phil X, and you didn't read, so you were gonna slow down the whole session, but you totally kept up. And I go, oh man, you gotta see my Post-it. It's like this thing. And he said he couldn't believe I did the whole thing with that little shit. But I think the thing is, it's always, whether you're, you get called to do a session, you want to be called back. So you really always have to bring your A game. You always have to bring your best. And it's not about getting your best guitar playing on a recording. It's about getting what suits the song the best. So that's why I kept getting called back, because I also write music. So I listen to the chorus, and I would totally figure out what it would need to take it to the next level. And people would go, oh man, wow, we didn't expect that. That was great. So then the phone started ringing. Hey, we want what you did on this, and what we did. And then somebody else says, hey, let's get that guy that did the Daughtry record, because we love that guitar playing. And it's just, everything snowballs because everything goes right, because I had this mentality of make the song better. So, and it's not about doing fast licks, and it's not about, oh man, I want to use this technique. No. The one technique that I did use, that got used a lot, is called bouzouki tuning. And I came up with this tuning that, when you play a melody with this tuning, it's called, I call it bouzouki tuning. It doesn't sound like, it almost sounds like 2 guitars, but not. Is it a 12 string? Is it a chorus pedal? You can't really tell, because it's got a franticness to it. So I'll show you how I do that. So I tune the E string to B. But when I put it in the same nut notch, that's right, nut notch. When I put it in the same nut notch, you can kind of hear the metal rubbing. That kind of thing, right? And it's kind of like, what the hell is that? But then I was playing pop melodies. So it was like and then it's like, okay, that's perfect, that's awesome. But then then I had a band, and we'd be doing something like, oh, I'm gonna put this sucker out of tune. used to come up with this stuff, and it would give me an edge over a lot of players. So everybody was calling, "Hey, let's get this guy because he comes up with this crazy stuff." That was a long answer, man. I'm sorry. Any other questions? You're welcome. Yes. This guy right here.
Hello.
Ah, there we go.
First of all, thanks a lot for coming. And
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Woo!
and Bon Jovi is about to begin recording of 2020 album.
No. No.
No?
It's almost done.
Whoa.
Yeah. But that's all I can say. I can't say anything else.
So I'm gonna change my question a little bit. So, what can we expect from your growing role in the band? You started just as the hired gun, I may say that.
Yes, hired gun.
But I can feel that your role in the band is growing.
Oh wait, what's? Okay, I heard you say stuff, but I didn't hear a question. What's the question? What?
The question is, can we expect more of your input on this
Oh.
record?
I can't answer that. There's one song that I'm really happy with, the solo that they allowed. Because I felt like it was a really cool song. I think it's going to be the first single. And even though the solo is really short, I really got to put in like Phil X. See, I always feel like when I play with Bon Jovi, I can't go full Phil X. It's not 100% me because I respect the band, I respect Richie Sambora, I respect the fans, and those songs they were songs of my youth when I was young. So, I just said the same thing twice. And so, when I play with my band, the Drills, and I wrote the songs, and I get to play the way I play, I'm full 100%, 110% Phil X. So, to me, I feel blessed that I get to have both canvases. You know, I have the Drills that, well, Bon Jovi, I do a little bit of painting, and then I play with the Drills, and I paint a lot, and it's crazy. But it's a part of me. It's more a bigger part of me, you know. And I drive the vehicle when it's the Drills, and John drives the vehicle when it's Bon Jovi, and I'm in the back seat going, all right. I'm waving at 100,000 people, so it's a pretty cool place to be. It's pretty awesome. There is some stuff on the new record that we created as a band in the studio, which was my first time, and that was exciting. So I'm excited for people to hear that. Yeah.
About the solo you just showed, I was wondering if you have a process, like if you think it beforehand or jam in the studio. Oh, it's okay. I was asking about the solo that you showed.
Yeah.
If you have a process, like you think the solo beforehand, you build it, like, I wanted to do that kind of thing, or if it's a spontaneous thing that you go into the studio and you create and jamming with the guys.
I don't think I have one way. It's like writing. Sometimes I'll write a lyric first, sometimes I'll write a melody first, and sometimes I'll write a riff first. It depends on the song. Something that I find really important is a plan doesn't work. I feel like I can't, hey, why don't you come over tomorrow and write? I go, because I can't. Oh, you're busy? No, I just can't. I can't just sit down and write.